Hey, it's Matt Santacapita from the Santa Sells Houses team, and this is another episode of our Money Market Update. So in this video, I want to go over a few things. One is we'll touch on the typical 7-day numbers, but the other thing is that we're going to touch on is where do we sit overall this September in comparison to other months over the past 5 years. So new listings for the past 7 days came in at 193, conditionals at 61, and solds at 98. So nice to see new listings still hovering around that 200 mark. It's a great number. General solds, though, being below 100, to me, I would say is a little concerning. That would reinforce what we have been seeing, which is a slowdown of the market, which means homes are going to take longer to sell. We did just exit a historic, call it kind of first and second quarter, where pretty much homes were flying off the shelf in under a week. So anyways, let's get on to the meat and potatoes here, the more interesting stuff. So couple things. As we sit today, we're 63% of the way through September. And in the City of London right now, we are looking at the total number of sales sitting at 174. Now, if we continue on this pace of sales for the remainder of the month, that means we should end up somewhere at around 276 total sales for the month. Now, this is coming off August sales of 407, July 390, June 480, and then the big number in March of this year being 738. But what is getting concerning here is when we do look at the last 5 years, so going back to 2018, that number, if we hit 276, the last time we saw a number that low was December 2018, which oddly enough was 276 sales for that month. But also in January of that year as well, we saw 272. Now, typically, January and December are the quieter months. You could almost consider them half months because once Christmas kicks in, call it the last 2 weeks, are crickets in real estate. And then typically the first few weeks of January, again, are crickets because of New Year's and, people are just kind of getting back to life. So, but to see that in a fall market is a bit of an anomaly. So to kind of give you an idea, in 2021, in September of 2021, we saw 638 sales. 2020 was 734, 2019 was 560, and 2018 was 517. So, I mean, it's fair to say that typical transaction levels for September should be well over into the 5 to the 600 range, and we're going to be 50% of that. Now, that's only half the story here of what I want to cover, because the other side of this is number of active listings. So as we sit right now, we're at 1,828 active listings. Earlier this year in June, we saw the height of active listings being 2015. Now, I'll throw out March, we saw 1,024. And the reason I'm throwing that out is because the number of sales that we saw there. So you can kind of see, March inventory was really low and we saw very strong demand, and that's what drove prices to where they went. I mean, everything right now is supply and demand. And there were times where we just really didn't have enough housing for the number of buyers that wanted to buy. Anyway, so let's get back to the total number of active listings for the month. And again, we're going to look over the past 5 years. Now, I'm going to jump to January 2018 and December 2018 because those were the lowest numbers of sales. And January of 2018, we saw active number of listings was 1,256, and December was 1,287. This month so far, we have 1,828, which, looking at January numbers, we have 45% more inventory to choose from. And then comparing to December's numbers, we have 42% more. That's December, both January and December of 2018. So December, we have 1,287, so 42% more inventory. And we're still not done the month. So realistically at this pace, I'm going to say we should probably move past the 2,000. Maybe we'll be 2,000, 2,100, making it the month over the past 5 years where we've had more active listings than any other time. Now, What is that going to do for pricing? Well, I mean, we have no more interest rate decisions going on this month. We did have one already, and rates went up. So obviously, when rates go up, prices go down. That's just the way it works. Interest rates are essentially gravity to home prices. But if we start going past that 2000 mark and we keep growing and we see demand easing, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The reality here is we probably are going to see some more downward pressure on housing prices because that's just what's going to happen. Now, there's grumblings and rumors of a few things that might eventually cause, demand to come back a little bit stronger. One of the things that we've been hearing is that they are going to be changing the qualifying rates. So they're going to be, right now when you qualify for a mortgage, you have to qualify at about 7% when rates are 5%. There's talks that they're going to eliminate that. Now, if that happens, essentially that adds, call it, $150,000 worth of buying power to buyers, which I think will then stimulate the market again, and we'll start to see things level off. The other bit of chatter that we've heard is that there's some conversations about altering the amortization period. So currently, most mortgages can be amortized out 25 years. Now, if you're at a credit union, that's different. It can go longer than that. But in general, generally speaking, most mortgages are amortized out, residential mortgages are amortized out about 25 years. There's rumors that they're going to start changing that and opening that up to 30, 35, possibly 40. So who knows? That could take a year to happen. We have no idea, but just some very interesting numbers to see. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a direct message. Would love to hear what you think, where you think the market's going, whether or not you think it's going up or down or whatnot. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I personally do believe that we're still in a good market. Some people throw out a collapse. I don't think we're going to see a collapse. And the reason, we're going to come into a bit of stable pricing at some point here because we're just going to give up the things that we don't need. So you don't always need to lease a new car. You don't always need to go on, 2 or 3 vacations and things like that. And so that is what we're going to do, is we're going to eliminate the, items that we don't necessarily need, and we're going to focus more on getting a house. After all, we're all human beings. You need a roof over your head. So I do think some stability is coming. At least my fingers are crossed. I hope so. But yeah, so Matt Santagapita from the Santa Sells Houses team, and this has been another episode of our Money Market Update.